obviously inexperienced there with Gatewood and Nix, who's a incoming freshman. So I think if they can get the quarterback situation stabilized, just to get at least in the beginning of the year, they come out of the gate and they play Oregon, which is an interesting game. But if they can get through that game, I think they could have a lot better season than's being projected. And right now their over/under is at 8, and you could probably get around plus 140 on the over. I think if everything goes wrong for Auburn, worst case scenario, I think they win 8 games. So if you to get plus 140 to go on the over there, I think it's a pretty good play.
Jason, I want to add one more thing when you're handicapping teams in the preseason. The quarterback, we've seen many good quarterbacks come up and play great without having experience. To me, handicapping the lines is something enough young handicappers and new handicappers don't do. I will make this statement. The Auburn Tigers have the best combined O-line and D-line in the country.
Ooh.
They have the best D-line in the country, and they have a top 5 or 6 O-line in the country. Combined, the best set of lines in the entire country, not just the SEC. They're that good on both sides in the front.
I have a tendency
and Ralph, you know the SEC. It's all about the line of scrimmage. If you can control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, you're going to win a lot of games.
No question.
Well, yeah, and the thing of it is, they're breaking in a new quarterback, but, there's no law against running the football. And I think Auburn's got themselves a situation where they should be able to control some clock by establishing a good ground game behind that really good offensive line. And you know me, I am still very much old school, and the stats bear this out, by the way. So it's not I'm not just some old guy sitting here and saying, I remember the good old days. It's still the same thing. If you win the ground game, you generally win the football game. And anybody who disputes that should take a look at the Army cadets, because that's what they do, is they control the ground game, and they beat teams they're not supposed to beat. I think Auburn, this is part of what I do going into the season. I put more stress on teams that return intact lines, and we're talking about that here with Auburn on offense and defense. And I can't disagree with anything you guys have said. I think this is a team that has got a really good shot at double-digit wins.
Another thing about a team like Auburn, and, I think you could draw comparisons to that, like I said, to LSU last year. These teams have so many – the expectations are so high down there for these teams. And, it's been Alabama, completely dominating the conference. Now, Auburn comes into the year with, people, even their blue blood fans are really not, so high in this team. So I think, that those kind of those lower expectations can really help feed this team and help them this year be successful.
One final note on those young quarterbacks they have. Times are changing in college football. These young high school quarterbacks are going through the camps. They're progressing. They're playing elite ball at a different level. I mean, we saw Trevor Lawrence come in as a true freshman, Tua coming in. They have Bo Nix, who was the number 2 quarterback in the freshman class. And another thing to look at when you're handicapping teams with a lot of young players that's important to me, Bo Nix was in for spring practice. He graduated high school early. Being in for spring puts you at an entirely different level when you get to September. It's not like this kid walked on campus in August and is now going to lead the team.
Yeah, that's a great point about these kids. How much first of all, the way they run offenses, and you watch these high school games. It's like watching almost a college game. It's not just all running. They're running legit offenses.
We'll drop in a quick baseball update before we get to UNLV football 2019. The Cubs are now up on the Padres 6-5 in the bottom of the 8th, and it's the Padres defense, an error by Fernando Tatis, and I don't know how it was scored, but it was, if they're scoring it right, an error following that by Eric Hosmer, and an inning that should be over. With the score tied 5-5, the Cubs now up 6-5 with 2 outs, runners still at first and third. Some really bad defense by the Padres. All right, UNLV, looking at the over and under on this team, it's 4, and very slightly juiced to the over.
There were some 5s early.
Yeah.
I mean, when it opened,
I thought five was insane.
I agree with you, but there were fives when they first came out.
I think that was a bad number. Jason, 4 is a tougher number, I think. That's the neighborhood UNLV is going to be in. I think they're somewhere between a 3 and 5 win team in all likelihood. They're going to run the ball, but I don't know if they can do anything else. They can't throw, and their defense looks, subpar again.
I think what it comes down to with this team, and you remember when we would talk last year every week after when the quarterback Rogers got hurt. If he can stay healthy, I think they have a shot to get to a bowl game. When he got hurt last year, that completely killed their team. With UNLV, the UNLV's been a team the past couple of years. And this is the craziest. If you look back at their results based upon the point spread, they could be they had that crazy game against Howard where they were like a 40-something point favorite and they lost outright. But then there have been games where they've been 20-point underdogs and they've won outright. So it's really a crazy team. Just looking back on their results. But I think if they could keep this quarterback healthy, I think he has a lot of talent. I really do. I think he's a good player in that league. If you have a quarterback like that in that type of league, I think you can win some games. They had that terrible loss in the Hawaii game last year. Yeah. They won 4 games with that terrible loss. I think they could get to 5 and a outside shot at getting to 6. That's where I make them. I think going over 4 is a good play.
My argument to that is this: two arguments. One is that I don't know if Rodgers can stay on the field because he runs the ball all the time, which is what he does. And quarterbacks who run the ball all the time, there's a risk of getting hurt. The other is that I'm not at UNLV, so I can't say that this is a sure thing, but it's just my logical mind suggesting that if they get off to a bad start, Tony Sanchez is a lame duck coach because they're going into a new stadium next year, and if they don't get to 6 wins in a bowl game this year, I don't think Tony's going to be back. Now, that's my opinion. I don't have any particular information on it. I could be dead wrong. But those teams worry me going in. So I don't think I'm going to play the total on them for that reason. To me, I'm looking at them more as a squad that I'll make determinations on as the season continues based on their health and based on the kind of start they get off to. If they get off to a good start, they could win 6 or 7 games in the Mountain West. It's a lousy league, so I can't argue with you on that point, Jason.
Their schedule, they start out, they have Southern Utah. They should win that game.
Right.
The next game, they have Arkansas State at home. That's a revenge spot from last year.
That's a really big game.
I think they got a chance to win that game, too. At Northwestern, I don't think they'll win. Then it gets a little dicey. They go to Wyoming after a bye. They have Boise. Then they go to Vanderbilt, at Fresno, San Diego State.
See, that's what really worries me.
Those are some tough games in there.
The Arkansas State game, you wouldn't normally circle UNLV hosting Arkansas State as a monster game, but that is arguably the key game on the schedule for UNLV. If they start off 2-0, positive frame of mind, I think some good things can happen. If they lose that game, I think the roof could cave in.
I only have UNLV favored. Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ralph.
I only have UNLV favored in 2 games. So
the first 2?
No, they're 7-point dog to Arkansas State.
You've got them favored against Hawaii then, right?
San Jose State. They host San Jose State, and that's it. So to me, it's going to be tough to get to that 4. Now, here's what I will say about that Arkansas State game, which I agree with you, Dave. A 2-0 start can change momentum. Yeah. Going into a new stadium can be something special where everyone starts playing at an elite level. Arkansas State opens up the season hosting SMU. That's a huge game for them. If they pull that upset of SMU, then they have Georgia on deck, and I think they look past UNLV where they don't worry about it. If they lose to SMU, I think it's a negative for Rebels fans because then they're much more focused thinking we can't start the season 0-3.
Jason, let's talk about how people can get your select. Now, you have a limited subscription. In other words, you cap your subscriptions. I know you've got some big players and you're not looking to move the line. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But for those who are interested in getting your stuff, let them know how.
Sure. You could drop me an email at brinkspicks@gmail.com, or obviously you could, if you're following me on Twitter, _HBC. You could just send me a direct message, and I'll give you some information about how to get on board. Like Dave said, I'm not looking to bring on 10,000 people like that, but I do have a few spots that I'm opening up for football. And, if you're right for me and I'm right for you, then maybe we could work together.
All right. Hit him straight, buddy.
Sounds good, Dave. Be good.
Thanks, Jason. Jason Brinks, good job as always. Man knows his stuff. You want to talk college sports with somebody who's very sharp. He's one of your guys, that's for sure. Coming up next, we will get our Joe's Angle of the Day, and then we'll find out if the weigh-in's done yet. I don't know if it's on. I'll check around the internet. Maybe we can find out if it's being carried live someplace. We'll know if Kevin's available or not. But hopefully, Kevin Iole from ringside next.
The Las Vegas Sports Line.
I'm with Cliff Miller from MJ Christensen, and I want to talk about pre-owned Rolexes.
We can locate it. We can bring it in. We can save you money. So it behooves you to come by MJ today and look at some of the most wonderful pre-owned Rolexes and all other brands that you can imagine and save money.
And it comes with the pedigree because you've got the papers.
We've got the box. We've got the papers. We've got a 1-year warranty. You can't beat these deals.
MJ Christensen, located at Boca Park. Follow us on Facebook for exclusive offers.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
And we're set to go with our angle of the day. Ralph Michaels will provide it to us. By the way, if you're looking for an amazing dinner, make a reservation at Joe's. 702-792-9222 is the number.
It's a game we talked about on the 4-on-4, and it's going to be Philadelphia and Pittsburgh over the total. The Phillies, 17-6-3, over-under on the road, their last 26 games. The Pittsburgh Pirates, 30-11-2 over-under, including 9-1 over-under as a home favorite. And I told you the anomaly stat on Jordan Lyles, 0-16 in July. In those July starts, he's 12-3 over-under as well, just as a little bonus on top. Pittsburgh, Philly, over the total.
They have weighed in for the big fight this weekend. Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman, each coming in at 146 pounds, or 146.5 pounds. And covering the fight, as he covers all the big fights, and he has for many, many years. My good buddy, for many, many years. We've had blood poured on us at ringside. We've had teeth land right in front of us. Ugly stuff. Kevin Iole from Yahoo.com. What's going on, Kevin? How are you?
I'm doing great, Dave. Thanks for having me. It's good to hear your voice.
Same here. So this is my favorite kind of fight. It's not a contrived championship. I don't care about that stuff. It's a really fascinating matchup between a Hall of Famer and Manny Pacquiao and a prospect, I guess you can call him a prospect, who has been very highly regarded for a long time, and Keith Thurman, who now gets a chance to prove he's a top-level fighter.
I love the fight, too. I mean, this is the kind of fight that I've been pushing for a long time, and the fact that the PBC has every top welterweight out there with the exception of Terrence Crawford, now we're starting to see them all engage with each other. Tomorrow night we have Pacquiao and Thurman. In March we had Garcia versus Errol Spence. In September there's a press conference tomorrow to announce that Errol Spence will defend his title, his IBF title, against Sean Porter, the WBC champion. Danny Garcia was just here with us. He went in that mix. So there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Well, no question about it. And I guess the big question as far as this fight goes, look, any fight involving Manny Pacquiao at this stage of his career, I guess there's an element of risk involved for Pacquiao because he's getting up there, and yet somehow he's changed it. The metamorphosis he's gone through. I remember this guy 10 years ago, and he was just bombs away from the opening bell, and you wondered where the energy level would come from. And I think the thought among many of us was, well, once he gets older, he's just not going to be able to do that, and he'll go away at that point. He's transformed himself into a boxer over the years. It really is impressive, Kevin.
Well, and I think what he did that really is smart in this camp is he's taken days off, Dave.